What is up, F and True followers? GC Styles here. This is going on both channels. This is definitely worthy of checking out. Please sit through this whole video. I just got, as you all know, I don't know if you all knew this or not, but I was very big on comic books when I was a kid. My brother and me used to sit down and we used to read the Superman comics, the Batman comics. My brother first introduced me into Superman when I was only 10 years old on Action Comics, when the comic books were just starting to become color. They were like the really bad faded color comics. But I started reading Superman. I fell in love with I fell in love with it. I saw the Superman movies, all of them. I fell in love with them. You know, there's only going to be, you know, in my mind and a lot of other people's minds, there's only really going to be one Superman, and that's some people say that's George Reeves. To me, there's only one Superman, and that's Christopher Reeves. But this isn't about the movies nor the George Reeves, even though rest in peace both Christopher and George Reeves. You guys made us believe that men can fly with clouds between their knees, and you were the Superman character. So thank you for that. I want to thank, first off, I want to thank the creators of Superman, Joe and Jerry Siegel. If it wasn't for them, Smallville probably wouldn't have been such a success. The creators of Smallville. But I want to get into reviewing the series. As we all know that if you follow comic books, and follow Superman, we all know the story of Clark Kent, aka Kal-El. You know, we all know that how, as the destruction up on Krypton was going on, Jor-El and his wife Laura went, and they were scrambling, secretly to send their son Kal-El in a down to Earth in a spaceship, which came down in meteors, which on Earth was kryptonite, where it could make Clark sick. And the different kinds of kryptonite. There was black kryptonite, blue kryptonite, red kryptonite, green kryptonite, gold kryptonite, which stripped Clark of his powers. Green just made him weak. Made him weak. Red kryptonite affected his physical personality. It made him different. Black kryptonite kind of made him really, really sick. There's just so many different kinds of kryptonite, and he was founded by two human beings, Jonathan and Martha Kent. Through the show, they showed you what it was, how he was adopted and how he was raised, and how they treated him as a son because they couldn't physically have children. And then they raised him up knowing what he was, and they treated him like they were their own son. He had these abilities. They taught him how to control and use his abilities for the greater good and not for evil. They kind of were afraid of how the kids in school would react to him. So he really never got to go to school. But he had friends like Chloe and Pete and Lana and Whitney and Lex for a little bit of the first couple of episodes of the series, for the first couple of seasons, and it goes to show you that, like I said, I grew up with the comics, and I could only imagine what it was like, watching the original show when our fathers and grandparents were kids. Our grandparents probably watched it when it was able to. At that time, you were only able to watch TV through the radio. So if you wanted to watch something, you had to listen to the radio. There was no TVs back then. And in my mind, there's always going to be one Superman, and that's Christopher Reeves. I think I said that in the beginning of the episode, this video. But to continue on, there was just so much going on in this series. When the show first started airing, I really didn't think it was going to be such a good show. I had my doubts. Then one day I was just bored, and I was flicking through the station, and they had like a mini series going on. So I watched a couple of episodes, and I got hooked. And then so I started going out and I started watching it, and I really didn't know what was going on because I didn't know any of the characters. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who was who. The only really people I really knew was Lex and Clark and Jonathan and Martha. So and Lionel. So I really didn't know who was who. I didn't know who Chloe was. I didn't know who Lana was. Well, of course, if you watch Superman 3, you know who Lana is. Was actually in the movie. Annette O'Toole played Lana Lang when she was younger in the Superman movies, and it was the love of Clark's life, and they kept that in this series. And it was kind of cool because Annette O'Toole actually played Martha in the show, and it was kind of cool because during the first couple of seasons, Martha would always talk with Lana, and it was like a back and forth thing, and it was kind of cool because you had the original you had Lana, and then you had Annette O'Toole Lana, and then you had Lana from Kristen Cruick, and it was just an amazing show. We saw Close Encounters where we thought Lana and Clark were going to get together. There was the episode where the future was being predicted, where Lana and them got married, and then what happens if Chloe and Clark got married, and all this stuff. The show was very interesting. I got hooked on it. I went out and I started buying all the original shows. And what happened was, by the time I got caught up, the season that was airing at that exact moment was already ended, so I couldn't watch it. So I had to wait for the summertime for it to come out on DVD, and I would watch it before the next season aired. And I'm kind of upset now because the show came full circle, and there's not going to be another episode. I'm hoping that they decide to make another season, because it was just so much going on at the final couple of episodes, and they crammed it all together, and I'm so happy. And I marked out Clark. After the 10 seasons, you guys know, if you guys follow the show, Clark didn't know how to fly. Well, he knew he had the ability to, but he just didn't know how to use it. He only used it a couple of times, and he didn't really know how to control it. And it was kind of cool to see them finally do that. They teased in season 9 that what was going to happen, in the future, how the future was going to plan out, and how Clark wanted to become that person, and he saw what was going to happen. We saw them introduce other great DC characters like the Green Arrow, aka Oliver Queen. We saw them introduce Flash. We seen them AC, which was Aquaman. We've seen them introduce so many other characters, and what is there really to say about Smallville? There's not really anything bad to say about it. It's a very fantastic, very great show. I loved it. No homo. I'm going to say this right out, but I can't. Well, first off, I want to continue talking about the show. Before I get to that part, they gave these Annette O'Toole, aka Martha, gave Clark the Superman suit. This whole season was about Lois and Clark. There was also the series back in the 90s, The Adventures of Lois and Clark, which was also based on Superman. But the way that they went about Smallville was that they wanted to treat Superman as a secret identity, and Clark was going to be the person. But then, and then it was, and because everything that was going on, I'm all over the place. I'm just really excited that this show, it was an amazing show. It was an amazing series. It had its run. It was amazing. And I felt what it was like to be a kid again watching this show. I mean, it got me hooked. I was always, looking for more. Couldn't wait. I tried to go online to find spoilers for the next episode to see what was going to happen. And I just really loved the show, and I really enjoyed it. I want to thank the creators of Superman and Smallville, and anything to do with Superman, I want to thank. I mean, they brought in Doomsday, Metallo. They brought in, obviously they had Lex. They had Lionel Luthor. They had so many villains. They had the Kryptonians from the second movie come into the series. Terrence Stamp, who played General Zod in the Superman movies, did the voice for Jor-El. You had who I'm pretty sure he's a very big name actor. I don't really know his name in the show. I'm sorry if but they had the guy who they brought in Zod in seasons 8 and 9. And they brought him back in this season for an episode, and it was just so much going on. and this became more of a rant than a review. But now it gets to the point, no homo. But at the end of the episode, Clark finally found out how to fly, and he looked amazing in the friggin' Superman suit. Again, no homo, but Tom Welling looked amazing in the Superman suit. I have to say that he is this generation's Superman, and there's a lot of people going around there saying that the Superman character is jinxed. It's a curse because you've seen the original actor uh, who played Superman, George Reeves. George Reeves played Superman, and he committed suicide. And then they came out with the Adventures of Superboy, and the gentleman who played Superboy thought he can fly and jumped out the window of a 50-story building and committed and killed himself. Then you had Christopher Reeves, who got hurt during a horsing accident and broke his neck, became paralyzed from the neck down, and he passed away a couple of years back. And I want to thank George. Like I said in the beginning of this video, Christopher Reeves made us believe that men can really fly, and he was a fantastic actor. But I will always look back at Christopher Reeves' career as the man who played Superman. And now you had Dean Cain, who played Superman, Clark / Superman in the Adventures of Lois and Lane. Terry Hatcher played Erica Durant's mother, who Erica Durant played Lois Lane. You had Margaret Kidder come back, and she was kind of a confidant of Lionel Luthor. And they brought Christopher Reeves into the series, who was kind of helped Clark in, I think it was season 2 and 3, help him discover more of his Kryptonian heritage. They sent him his father sent him a message, and Christopher Reeves basically sought out Clark and was like, I really was beginning to wonder if you actually existed, and how he was deciphering a message from another planet. And it was just such a really good show. It was just not really anything bad you can say about it. I mean, I felt like I was 10 years old reading the comic books again. And I want to thank my brother for introducing me into the comic books, because I go and see the X-Men movies, I go and see all the Marvel superhero movies, with the exception of the ridiculously stupid movies like Epic Movie or Superhero Movie with Drake Bell, where he played the Wasp or something like that. I go and I check out the Green Hornet, I'll check out the Green Lantern, I'll check out Batman, I'll check out anything superhero, because I'm a comic book nerd. Just like there's Star Wars fans out there, and there's Trekkies, which are Star Trek fans. I also grew up on Power Rangers, so I'm a Power Rangers nerd. I'm actually putting money away as we speak to go to Morphicon next year in LA for the Power Rangers convention. And if I could get a chance to meet the cast of Smallville, I would love to do so. I'm going to start keeping a close eye out for that stuff, because I definitely want to be able to meet them. I would like to meet Tom Welling, shake his hand and say he bought it as Clark Kent. And Erica Durant was just beautiful as can be, even though she's a little bit older than what she plays on the show. We see Clark, full Clarked out, the thick black glasses, the gel-backed hair, the clumsiness and everything. And the key point to end out this video is Perry White was there, and he became the editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet. They bought Jimmy Olsen's brother, and you hear Lois say, you got big shoes to fill. Your brother was pretty something. He was amazing. And then you turn around and you hear some guy come running out of the office saying, there's a bomb in an elevator uptown. And the Superman music starts to play, and they tease that Clark and Lois are going to get married. At the end of the show, Clark runs up to the roof, pulls off the glasses, and you hear the Superman music playing, and he runs towards the camera, and he rips the shirt off, and you see the Superman logo, and that's how it goes. To be honest, I thought the best way for this show to end, and I think that they should have did it, because they ended all 4 movies that way. Well, 5 movies, including Superman Returns. He flies up into space, and then he looks at the camera, and he's like, he like this, and then as he goes off the camera, he looks at the camera and smiles. I thought that would have paid homage to the original Superman movies. And what more is there to say? But this show is very good. I'm looking forward to getting the box set when it comes out of the series. It's definitely well worth it. Guys, check this show out. Please leave your comments. Like this video if you love Smallville. Dislike it if you don't. Or, it's also going up on our sister channel, so it'll probably pop up under F and True Entertainment and F and True Wrestling. So, guys, have a good night. Enjoy the weekend. And I am high as a kite right now off of Superman, Man of Steel. I am probably going to watch all the Superman movies over the weekend. And for the hell of it, I might just try to find the season on YouTube and watch episode by episode, part by part. So, guys, have a good night and enjoy your weekend.